Okay, here's image number 245. It's from 2003, and the image on the left of the screen is called Old Man's Cloth, and it's made out of aluminum and copper wire. Artist is El Anatsui, and it is created by by a community. Um, but just a little bit about the author. I'm sorry, the artist. He was born in Ghana in 1944 when it was still a British colony. And but he makes sculptures that are like mutable in form, so they're free and flexible, that can be shaped in any way and altered in appearance for each installation. One of the things that he likes to work with, though, is discarded metal caps of liquor bottles and other different pieces of like tin and other patterned, like let's see what else, like different types of objects that you wouldn't consider art. So let's see. So Old Man's Cloth was a communal creation. It is compelling but a contradictory work of art. From a distance, the viewers see a massive object. It's 16 feet high and 17 feet wide, and it looks like a glittering gold and silver tapestry. However, when viewers move closer, they're surprised to discover Old Man's Cloth is actually comprised of thousands of recycled liquor bottle caps connected by copper wire. El Anatsui did not create Old Man's Cloth by himself. The work is communal activity requiring thousands of hours of labor, but supervised by Anatsui. But over a dozen assistants cut, flatten, and connect the bottle tops into blocks containing about 200 tops. And then assistants placed the squares on the floor where Anatsui directed their placement into overlapping patterns resembling the bright cloths and geometric designs of West African kente cloth. With in regards to like historic reminders, Anatsui deliberately designed Old Man's Cloth to provide visual reminders of West Africa's history. The gold color is a historic reference to Ghana's role as a major mining center. During the 14th century, West African miners produced two-thirds of the world's supply of gold. The tops of the bottles of whiskey, rum, and gin also serve as a reminder the tragic role alcoholic beverages have played in West African history. During the 17th and 18th century, the triangular trade routes crisscrossed the Atlantic Oceans, connecting the West Indies, British North American colonies, Great Britain, and West Africa, and a web of commerce. An Old Man's Cloth contains bottle caps, labels such as Dark Sailor and Liquor Headmaster that reference the role rum played in the Atlantic slave trade. So Anatsui also uses the labels as a reminder that West Africans now consume liquor as a way to escape the crushing burden of poverty created by the economic disparities unleashed by globalization. So the image on the left is the piece out of the 250, but this is from the De Young Museum in San Francisco. So that's a close-up to show you like the copper wires and what what gives it a color. So it's not this piece. It's actually, sorry if I change to the next slide, it's actually this piece. So I was trying to get a close-up of this over here. And then to show you the size, here's my daughter. So she was, I guess, about, let's see, she was probably 8 here. So if it gives you guys an idea of how large it is. Also, if you notice, like the different way it hangs on the side, because it's flexible, it is a conscious decision on the museum's part on how to hang it and how to give it texture. And that's something that Anatsui wanted. He insisted that his hangings be draped rather than hung flat, but he doesn't insist on doing the draping himself. In fact, he wants that galleries and museums to do so. He definitely prefers horizontal ripples, believes they're better than vertical ones, but he doesn't regard any particular arrangement as final. And naturally, professional curators are disconcerted by this freedom, And it's so he has little patience though with that museum. People are not trained to be creative, so he says he finds it frustrating. So there's a lot of these. I've seen one in pretty much every contemporary museum I've been to. So he's like, there's one at the Broad, and there's one at MoMA. And so, there's a lot of things that go into it, but there's definitely this dialogue of um, not only the historic references, but the current references to what it's like to live in the Gold Coast of Africa today. So there's Old Man's Cloth.